I need to tell you something that most car channels won't say out loud. Some of the cars people defend the hardest online are the exact same ones making their owners quietly miserable. Not miserable like the car is garbage, miserable like being in love with someone who keeps disappointing you but never badly enough to actually walk away. And that's the worst kind, right? Because at least if the car just died on you, you'd move on. But these cars, they give you just enough joy to keep you trapped. That's what today is about, and I already know at least one of these is going to hit you personally. So before you jump to the comments to tell me I'm wrong, just listen, because I think you already know I'm right. You just haven't said it out loud yet. Number 7, the Nissan 370Z. I'm starting here because the Z community is loyal in a way that honestly impresses me. And I get it, the engine sounds incredible. The chassis is raw and honest. It feels like the last sports car Nissan made before they stopped trying. But here's what nobody wants to admit. Nissan sold this car for over a decade and basically refused to update it. The interior looks like it was sketched on a napkin in 2008 and everyone just moved on with their lives. The seats get uncomfortable after 30 minutes. Highway noise is so loud you'll genuinely check if a window is cracked when it isn't. And then there's the clutch slave cylinder, which is a part that costs almost nothing but lives inside the transmission, so replacing it costs everything. The 370Z earns your love on a canyon road and then makes you pay for it on the drive home. And the worst part, Nissan knew you'd buy it anyway, and they were right. If you've owned one longer than 3 years and you've never complained, I don't believe you, but I respect the commitment. Number 6, the Audi A4, B8, and B9 specifically. This is the car people buy when they want to look like they've figured life out. And honestly, from the outside, it works. It's clean, it's quiet. It whispers good taste without being loud about it. The problem is, behind all that composure, the A4 has a list of habits that will slowly, quietly drain your bank account. Oil consumption that Audi will look you dead in the eye and tell you is within spec even when you're adding a quart every 2,000 miles. Timing chain tensioners that pick the most expensive possible moment to fail. Water pumps with what feels like a built-in expiration date. And none of it hits you all at once. That's the cruel part. It's slow, it's gradual. You don't even realize how much you've spent until one night you sit down, add it all up, and then just stare at the ceiling. The A4 is a death by 1,000 paper cuts car. It never betrays you dramatically. It just quietly takes from you. And you let it, because when everything works, it really is beautiful. That's the part that gets you. Tell me in the comments if I'm wrong, but be honest with yourself first. Number 5, the Mercedes C-Class, the W205. I'm going to say something that might genuinely upset some people. The W205 C-Class is not a luxury car. It's a car that pretends to be a luxury car really convincingly. And I say that with love because the pretending is impressive. The cabin looks expensive, the ride is smooth, the badge opens doors. But underneath all that, this car has more quirks than most owners will ever admit publicly. The 9-speed transmission can't decide what gear it wants. Sometimes it picks wrong and just hopes you won't notice. The air suspension on certain trims develops slow leaks you won't catch until one corner of your car is sitting lower than the others in a parking lot. Sensors throw codes, screens glitch. The rear view camera occasionally just decides to take the afternoon off. And all of this gets fixed at Mercedes prices. Every little hiccup comes with a bill that reminds you this was supposed to be the affordable Mercedes. Here's the thing, affordable and Mercedes should never be in the same sentence. If yours has been flawless, either you found a golden one or you just haven't hit the mileage yet. I'll let you figure out which. Number 4, the Range Rover Sport. This one might get me in trouble. The Range Rover Sport is one of the most aspirational vehicles on the road. People dream about this car. They save for it. They stretch budgets for it. They finance things they probably shouldn't finance for it. And when they finally get the keys, it delivers for a while. The presence is unmatched. The interior is gorgeous. You feel like royalty. And then around year 2 or 3, the relationship changes. The air suspension screen starts making sounds it shouldn't. The electronics develop opinions of their own. Brake pads disappear like they're being used on something twice this heavy, which honestly, they kind of are. And then you check the resale value and realize this car has lost more money sitting in your driveway than some people spend on their entire vehicle. Here's what nobody says out loud. A lot of Range Rover Sport owners are stressed, not because the car is bad, but because keeping it the way it should be costs more than they planned. And admitting that feels like admitting they made a mistake, so they don't say anything, they just keep paying. If you're nodding right now, you're not alone, and it's okay to say it. Seriously, this is a safe space. Number 3, the Jaguar XJ. The XJ might be the most heartbreaking car on this entire list, and I mean that. Jaguar built something genuinely special here. The aluminum body, the design, that interior. This is a car with soul, real soul, not the manufactured marketing kind. The kind you feel the second you sit in it and realize someone actually cared about making this beautiful. And then you own it for a while. The air suspension becomes a constant background worry. The electrical system develops a creativity that no engineer ever intended. Touchscreens restart mid-drive for no reason. Door handles stop presenting like they've just given up on life. Finding a mechanic who truly knows these cars is like finding a good barber. It takes time, it takes trust, and when you find one, you never let go. The XJ breaks your heart because you can feel how great it was supposed to be. It's so close to perfect that every single flaw feels personal, like the car is letting you down specifically. And yet the owners who stick with it are some of the most passionate car people I've ever talked to. They don't just own the XJ, they believe in it. That says more about this car than anything I could ever say about its reliability. If you own one, tell me your story. I genuinely want to hear it. Number 2, the Mercedes CLS. The CLS is the car that proved a 4-door coupe could actually work. It invented a whole segment, and honestly, even now, years later, this thing still turns heads. There's a drama to the CLS that most sedans will never have. But here's what nobody talks about. The CLS was built to be admired, not necessarily to be kept. The earlier models with the twin-turbo V8 can develop wiring harness problems where the labor alone costs more than some people's monthly car payments. The air suspension, and yes, I know I keep bringing up air suspension, but that's because it keeps being a problem, is another ticking clock. And the 7-speed automatic in the older cars shifts like it's distracted, like it's thinking about something else entirely. The CLS punishes long-term owners harder than almost any other Mercedes. It seduces you with looks and status for the first few years, and then starts sending invoices for the privilege. I think a lot of people bought a CLS because of how it made them feel, and then they discovered that feelings don't cover repair bills. If you've kept one beautiful and running past 100,000 miles, you're not a car owner. You're a project manager, and I mean that as a genuine compliment. Number 1, the Alfa Romeo Giulia. You knew this was coming. If you've watched car content for more than 5 minutes in your life, you knew. The Giulia is the most frustrating car on this list, and it is also the single best one to drive. That is the entire problem. The steering feel is telepathic. The balance is perfect. The way it turns into a corner makes you forget every rational thought you've ever had about reliability and resale value and monthly budgets and all the things adults are supposed to care about. And then a warning light comes on, or a sensor fails, or the infotainment does something so bizarre you literally cannot describe it to the dealer without sounding like you're making it up. The early models especially had issues that made ownership feel less like a test of patience and more like a test of character, because every single time something went wrong, you had to decide, is the way this car drives worth the headache of keeping it alive? And here's what gets me. The people who say yes, they stay forever. They don't just tolerate the Giulia, they love it harder because of the struggle. It's the most emotionally complicated relationship you can have with a machine, and I honestly think that's exactly what Alfa Romeo intended. They didn't build a car, they built a loyalty test. And if you passed it, nothing else will ever feel the same. Tell me I'm wrong. I dare you. That's the list. 7 cars that will test your patience, your wallet, and honestly, maybe your sanity a little bit. But here's the thing, every single one of them has something that makes people stay. Something that makes all the frustration worth it. And that is what separates these from genuinely bad cars. Bad cars just disappoint you. These cars disappoint you and then make you fall in love again the next morning. I want to know which car tested your patience the most. Not which car you think is unreliable. Which one actually got to you personally? Drop it in the comments, be honest. And if you're still here after all 7, you should probably subscribe, because if you sat through this whole thing and you're still nodding along, you're clearly one of us. Thanks for watching.